I know. And unfortunately, there's planets that don't move us along with it. Long day, huh?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
All right, let's go. I gotta help her. Ready? Come on. Say I was born a champion. I was born a champion. Born a champion. Woohoo! All right. Good job. Nice work. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. All right. So we have tonight anti-aging and detox. How to turn back the clock, how to at least stop the clock. Raise your hand if you want to learn how to stop the clock. Age a little more gracefully. Say aye. Aye. All right, well, got a power-packed program for you tonight. So thank you for being here, and let's just dive right into it, get ready, and get our mind ready. So just remember, you know, a couple of things we always do, like with housekeeping, just if you have a cell phone, if you have just anything that you could suddenly be surprised by that would create an interruption or a disruption, please silence your phone or your computer, whatever you got, just to be on the safe side, just to be kind to your fellow classmates tonight. Fair enough? All right, so let's put ourselves in the right frame of mind. You know, I mean, been doing this almost 30 years, and a long time now. I don't have 30 years to download everything I know about health and aging, but I do have the next, I don't know, maybe 60 minutes. I'm going to give you all that I got, as much as I got, and we can do the best we can with the time that we've got. But first and foremost, you have to have a vision for yourself, for your health, for your life. So you're going to have to make a decision at some point where you see yourself in the future. Because if you don't have a vision for your health, and somebody else is going to take you to a place where you may not have wanted to go. And we live in a country right now where we're one of the least healthy, sickest populations in the world. You know, we take more medication than pretty much any other country in the world. We have more heart disease, more cancer, more diabetes. We have more people taking more medications here in the United States than any other country. That when we compare our healthcare costs and our healthcare system, we're pretty much worse in the world for any industrialized nation. And so what do we do when we get sick? We go where? We go to doctors. And when you go to doctors, what is their standard of care? What are you going to get? More what? More medications. So if you're not taking charge of your health, if you don't have a vision for your life, somebody else is going to give it to you. And really what that looks like for people who are less educated or less informed, they're going to more doctors, taking more medications, and they may be, you know, like everybody else, living longer, but with a poor quality of life. So like the picture of that is on the left there. You know, literally being bankrupted by healthcare costs and taking the rest of your family down with you. Because when you wind up in an assisted nursing facility at a cost of $5,000 or $6,000 a month, who do you think winds up taking care of you at that point? Not your insurance company, your family. So the burden has to be borne now, because it's what we do right now that's going to determine where we're at 5 or 10 years from now. Are you going to be the person on the left, or are you going to be the person on the right? You know, traveling, doing what you want to do, where you want to do it, with who you want to do it, on your terms, quality of life. And that's what tonight is. Just listen carefully, listen meticulously, analyze the decisions that you're making, and see what kind of convicts you and where we can do better. And as I always say, this is where we have to get our mind right, so that we understand what we can improve upon. Many of you sitting here, you've sat through these workshops before, and you know, sometimes we get up and we leave and we don't change anything. We're like, that was good. Great workshop, Dr. Yachter. And you know, like, we don't do anything different. But tonight my wish and my prayer is that you take action, you do something different, even if it's just one thing. One thing, circle it, commit to it, and make a change. Can we agree on that? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give you 7 keys tonight. How many keys? 7. So first one is always make your future bigger than your past. You ever hear people saying, yeah, those were the good old days. Man, when I was back in my 20s or back in my 30s, people breaking out pictures of themselves when they were, young in the day, and, they were good looking, and they were doing all this and that, and now it's just like, man, they long for the good old days. Well, let me tell you something. If that's you, you're sending a signal to the universe for a body bag. It's time for a body pickup. That's what it is. That means you're clocking out. If your best days are behind you, and your best days aren't in front of you, like you don't have anything to look forward to, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all downhill from there. So we have to have a vision for where we want to go. We have to have goals. Goals are important. Goals are important. Dreams are important. Do you have goals? Do you have things that you want to do? Places where you want to be? Things that you want to achieve, whether it's with your family, your business, your hobbies, whatever the case is. Do you have them written down, and is it something that you think about and you strive towards? Because if you don't, that's part of the recipe for aging a lot more quickly. So we have to know where we're going, because if not, you're taking any journey to any place. So you have to know where you're going, or any road will take you there. Spiritual health. So yes, you have your doctor talking to you about spiritual health. I'm concerned about all aspects of your health, not just your physical health. Let me ask you a question. Don't you think your spiritual health can affect your physical health? Yeah. So how could we possibly overlook that? I think in many ways your spiritual health is even more important than your physical health. And there's a lot that I could say about that, but what really gets people sick and what really speeds up the aging process is worrying, anxiety, trying to control your situation, trying to control your life. And how many of you guys know people like that? And people in my own family like that. Sometimes I'm like that. Until I just take a deep breath and I realize, you know what? I'm not in control. Are you in control? In the end, who's really in control? God's in control. It's his story. From the beginning of time till the end, from Genesis to Revelation, we just have a walk-on part in his story. And we think that we control our life. Well, we don't. We may have goals, and goals are important so long as they're aligned with his will for your life. And when you're spirit-filled and spirit-led, and you're in the will of God, that's a place of peace, not stress, not anxiety. But I can only share with you my experience. Everybody has their own, religious views or views of faith. But I can tell you, when I did a deep dive, and I continue to do that and study the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, word by word, what you're going to find is the truth. Otherwise, all you can do is make up your own version of it. What you feel, is right for you. The Bible says the heart is desperately wicked. We can't trust how we feel. I used to think that. I used to think that I could make up my own version, but, the Bible says that no one goes to the Father except through the Son. And John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have" what? Eternal life, everlasting life. So you got to walk on part in this journey here for however many years that God has given you, and you do your best you can for him. But then you don't worry about what happens after, because you have your security in eternity through your salvation. And again, if you don't know what that is or what that looks like, get a Bible, open it up, turn it to Romans chapter 10, verses 9, 10, and 13, and you will find all the answers right there, just as I did. And so, when you have that peace with God and peace of God, that peace surpasses all understanding. You can't logically substantiate that. And what do you think that does to your physical health? You can't quantify it. But I think that really has preeminence over how much you exercise, how well you eat, how many adjustments you get. Nothing should come before that. That's the most important thing, and that's why I wanted to start that, because if you haven't gotten right, with the Lord, if you haven't made your peace with your Maker, then the question becomes, when do you do that? And why wait? Because again, that's something that just affects your health. The longer you wait, the longer a toll it takes on you. Number 2 is reduce and eliminate memory impairing drugs. Prescription, over-the-counter drugs, they do have an effect on your brain. And many of these effects actually mimic dementia-like symptoms. Did you know that? Things like anxiety medications, insomnia medications, antidepressants, steroids, anti-inflammatory pain medications have the symptoms, the effect of mimicking dementia. Chemotherapy drugs, statins, cholesterol medications. So many of you are aware of this, but again, I don't know if this is something that concerns you. You're here for an anti-aging seminar, and if this is still part of your regimen, then the question is, what can I do to start reducing or getting off of this? Is there a way to do that? And if you're not sure of that, ask me, and we can go over that, because everybody's different. And we need to be sensitive to that. We don't want to kid ourselves, because the longer that we stay on these things, the less likely it is that we live out all the years that God had intended for us. Number 3, early morning exercise. Why do I say early morning? I mean, is it the worst thing in the world to exercise in the afternoon? No, it's better than nothing. But what happens in the morning? Something important happens when you exercise on an empty stomach. You create something called human growth hormone. Everybody say that. Human growth hormone. You know what that is? That's the fountain of youth. So when you create human growth hormone, you get the benefits of improved mental function, memory. It creates muscle development. It improves your bone density, helps prevent osteoporosis. It increases energy production, sexual function, performance, and all of these things that research shows when you engage in a consistent resistance training. Now, resistance training can come in the form of weights, the resistance bands, high intensity interval training. You've got to get your heart rate up. And this is different from yoga, stretching, or even a brisk walk. And I talk about brisk walking all the time. Matter of fact, I did a brisk walk today, because usually the other 5 days of the week I am lifting weights. So it is good to mix these things up. But what does research show? That older adults that engage in a consistent, what's that word? What's the key word there? That's more than once annually, right? I'm sorry, I wore that one out. You guys. So it reduces the risk of developing age-related dementia, osteoporosis, skin wrinkling, and hormonal changes. You look at all these people on the bottom there. These are all people in their 80s. So the Ernestine Shepherd, she's in the Guinness Book of Records. She's in her mid-80s now for a bodybuilder. Jack LaLanne, he lived into his mid-late 90s, always exercising. This guy, you can see, what he used to look like in 81, doesn't look too much different in 2012. Senior citizen bodybuilder on stage. So what does that tell you? Age is just a number, and what you do with what you have will make the difference. And I was reading studies today that showed that when they put two groups of people together, a younger group of men and women and an older group of men and women, when they did this type of training and endurance training, you know who had the biggest bang for the buck, the biggest return on investment for exercise, and the greatest change in brain volume? You know which age group it was? The older people. The older you are, the better the return on this time invested for exercise. What does that tell you? Never too late. Never too late. All right, so number 4, lifetime chiropractic wellness care. What's that first word say? Lifetime. What does lifetime mean? For the rest of your life. Really? Does that mean I have to get adjusted for the rest of my life? No, you don't have to. You choose to. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. Do I have to brush my teeth for the rest of my life? No. Only the ones you want to keep. So I'm going to recommend to you lifetime chiropractic adjustments because that's what I did. And from the minute my children were born, they've been getting adjusted. How many doctors do you think they've been to for health problems?
None.
0. How many prescription medications have they been on? 0. How many over-the-counter medications have they been on? 0. Is there anybody in this room that would not want to have a lifestyle like that? So why would I say just get adjusted until your pain goes away? That would be robbing you of the best type of care that I could give you. So what do you see happening there? What did you see happen? Did you see that person's posture change? Did you see that? That's what it started looking like, right? And then if you watch carefully, as a person ages, have you seen people that walk around like this? Right? Have you seen people walking like this dragging an oxygen tank? Yeah? Why? Because what does it affect? Your lung capacity, yeah, and your cardiovascular function. So as a result of that impairment, do they live longer or die earlier? Die earlier. And this was a study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. They said, in general, there's a correlation in body structure, health, and span of what? Survival. So the better your posture, relatively speaking, the longer your lifespan. Wow. Does that kind of go hand in hand with anti-aging? Yeah. So do you think the adjustments help with that?
Yeah.
Do you think your home care helps with that? Yeah. That's what this is about, anti-aging. The longer you're under chiropractic care, the better your chances are of having good posture, good cardiovascular function, among other things. And that's what I want to share with you. That's just the tip of the iceberg, and that's published in a medical journal. Journal of Manipulative and Physiologic Therapeutics, another journal, studied 311 chiropractic patients 65 and older who received maintenance care for how long? 5 years. Versus healthy citizens the same age. What were the outcomes? Chiropractic patients, the wellness patients, had 6. So what does that wellness mean? What is that wellness? What do wellness patients not have? Pain. So in other words, they were under care for 5 years after they were out of pain, right? Just going for regular adjustments, and here's what happened. 60% fewer hospital admissions, 62% less surgeries, and 85% less pharmaceutical costs. So there is, what you have to look forward to the longer that you're under care. Your first, second year, you're starting to feel a little better, you're moving better. Your third, your fourth year, you look back and you're like, I don't think I've gotten sick. I can't remember the last time I've gotten sick. And then you look back another 5 years, 10 years goes by, and you look around and you're like, dang, I'm doing a lot better than people my age. I can't remember the last time I was in a hospital or taking less medications. People getting older around me, they're going to more hospitals, taking more medications. And this is where the difference is made. The longer you're under care, the bigger the return on investment. Many of you have seen that. Okay, so does this have to do with anti-aging? Absolutely, and that's why I want to continue to develop this. Why is this happening? Why do they continue to see that the longer people are under chiropractic care, the lower their risk of cancer, the lower risk of heart disease, the lower the risk of stroke? And here's the reason why. The power of the parasympathetic. What is the parasympathetic part of your nervous system? It's the part that they call rest and digest. It's the part of your nervous system that just kind of slows everything down. It's for rest, recovery, and long-term survival. What's the other part of your nervous system? The sympathetic. What is that? Fight or flight, right? That's to give you a quick shot in the arm of adrenaline. Most people who are under stress all the time, they're sympathetic dominant. When you get chiropractic adjustments, it balances all that out because it stimulates the rest and recovery part. And that's why people heal. That's why you sleep so deeply. That's why you breathe better and have more energy after your adjustments. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. So when we do the heart rate variability, we're actually measuring that. And that is a measure of your body's coherence in terms of its ability to perceive its environment and handle stress better. You ever see what stress does to people? It kills them. But it's not that our adjustments take away your stress, they just help your nervous system to handle the stress better. Does that make sense? Okay. So what effect does chiropractic care have on your autonomic nervous system? Does anybody know the answer to that? What effect do the adjustments have on that nervous system, those two parts of your nervous system? It balances it. Very good. Very good, Denise. It balances it. And if you're more balanced, you can handle stress better. And if you can handle stress better, what happens to your resistance, your immune system? Stronger. And as a result of that, you don't get sick as often. As a result of that, you fight cancer better. As a result of that, the inflammation subsides to some level, so you have less of a risk of a heart attack or stroke. Does that make sense? That's what effect the adjustment has on these things. So the power of a chiropractic adjustment, you see the little arrow right there, scientifically proven to the parasympathetic. What it does is it increases digestion, increases your metabolism, serotonin and dopamine. What is that? Those feel-good endorphins, happy hormones, neurotransmitters, feeling of well-being, just makes you feel good. Growth hormones it stimulates, hormonal balance, cellular immunity, concentration, reproductive hormones, all stimulated by the chiropractic adjustment. Did you know that? To the right of that column, you'll see it. It decreases cortisol. What is cortisol? The stress hormone. Adrenaline, heart rate, blood pressure, decrease. Blood glucose, decrease. Blood lipids, the fats in your blood, insulin resistance, breathing, bone loss, all decreased by the what? By the chiropractic adjustment. Adjustments also directly affect your what? Your brain. Everybody knock on their head. Say hello. Reply. If it affects your pituitary, it's affecting your memory. And it decreases fatigue. It helps offset weight gain, infertility, coordination, posture, balance, anxiety, depression, ADD, ADHD, accelerated aging. All of that is working through your brain and your nervous system when this occurs. So, I always say that chiropractic adjustments unleash, everybody say that word? Unleash human potential and performance. And so, how does it unleash human potential and performance? Like, how would you use that if you needed to perform every day at work? Laurel? Right? Clara? I mean, how do you guys see yourself benefiting from that? More energy? What else? What else? What's that?
Be able to withstand.
Be able to what?
Withstand the problems.
Withstand the stress? How about Evander Holyfield? Do you think he could withstand a jaw-breaking blow from Mike Tyson a little bit better if his neck has a little bit better mechanical movement, if his nervous system is firing on all cylinders? Can he rebound, recover? Is he faster, quicker? Does he have more agility, more coordination? Well, look at what he said. I have to have an adjustment before I go into the ring. I do believe in chiropractic. I found that going to a chiropractor 3 times a week helps my performance. The majority of boxers go to chiropractors to get that extra what? Edge. I'd be willing to bet and say that he'd have never beat Mike Tyson if he didn't have a good chiropractor. Maybe my opinion. Probably true. How about this guy down here? Tom Brady. I wonder if his chiropractic adjustments helped him win how many Super Bowls? How many Super Bowls? How many rings does he have? How many rings does his chiropractor have? 1 less than him, because he wasn't in Tampa Bay. He was only with the New England Patriots. As long as I see the chiropractor, I feel like I'm 1 step ahead of the game. Oh, who's that guy? Tiger. Tiger's been getting adjusted since he was a wee little boy, wet behind his ears. His dad knew the benefits of chiropractic, and he said, I've been going to chiropractors for as long as I can remember. It's as important to my training as practicing my swing. These are multi-million-dollar athletes. How are they using chiropractic care? For what? Do you see any of them talk about their back pain. How are they using chiropractic care? For performance. To keep them at their what? To keep them at how many of you guys want to be at 100% of your God-given best? Say aye. Aye. Unleashing human potential performance. Doesn't matter if you're a multi-million-dollar athlete or if you're you or me. We all deserve the best. Tap your neighbor on the shoulder. Say, you deserve the best. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? We're talking about, where it all started. What separates you from a dead person? Somebody who died in a morgue yesterday. They still have heart, lungs, liver, spleen. They have arms, legs. They have a brain and a spinal cord. But what do they not have that you and I have? Life. Very good. Thank you, Patricia. Life. Life. Who gives us life? Where does life come from? God. From above down. And when does it start? Right there, conception. When God breathes life into you as a living being, you now have the intelligence that created the living universe. That order, that same intelligence that created the living universe now takes a hold of you as a living being and personifies you. And that intelligence is what guides, governs, directs, and coordinates the development of you from 2 cells dividing to 4. And then multiplication, division, until we see this, which is what? The fetus. And what do you see under the microscope, the first thing to form in the fetus? What does that intelligence develop first? Because it's the most important thing. The what? Brain and the spinal cord, the nervous system. So the nervous system, in essence, is what God gives you to run the software of His intelligence that runs the living universe. You got that? Think about that for a minute. David, you're a computer genius. So if I gave you a computer and it didn't have Windows 10 or it didn't have any software, what could you do with it? Put it out to the curb. Can't do a darn thing with it. God gave you a brain and a spinal cord and all these nerves. But you know what? It's useless and worthless without what? His intelligence that inhabits you and runs you from the moment He gives you life until the last breath that you take. And so this is what we're working with to unleash the human potential, because that's who you are. You live your life through your nervous system, right? You're looking at me right now. Smell, taste, touch. Your entire human existence is filtered through your nervous system. Do you want anything impairing that or causing distortion, disruption in that? And that's what subluxation does. Your nervous system is really the thing that we're working with to make sure that there's no interference there so that your body can be the best that it can and do what it needs to do. So what's the purpose of a chiropractic adjustment? What's the purpose of a chiropractic adjustment? What's that on the right there? That's a subluxation. Very good, Michelle. A subway station? No, a subluxation. Subluxation. Sub meaning less, lux meaning light. Ation is a condition of less than 100% light being expressed in your body, because the bone is out of alignment, doing what to the nerve? Pinching it. Now, that pinching may or may not be causing pain, but what is it doing to your body's ability to express that intelligence? It's shutting it down, stopping you from being at your best potential, performing at your best potential. Now, for an athlete, that could be speed, coordination, muscle regeneration, right? For you and I, it could be whether or not we get a cold or a COVID or flu. It could be whether or not we have energy. It could be whether or not we're happy or we're depressed. You don't necessarily have to have pain to have that going on, because most of those nerve fibers are not pain sensitive. You got that? Especially if you're a guest here, this is important that you learn this. So, what's the purpose of the chiropractic adjustment then? A, is it to crack your spine? Hey doc, I need you to crack me real good today. Is that what the adjustment is for? Give it. Can you get it right there? Crack. Is that the purpose of the adjustment? Just to make a loud noise so you get off the table and go, woo, man, that feels good. And then we can do it again next time you come in, right? Is that the purpose of it? Is it to massage the muscles, that instrument that I have? Ooh, can you do that down there too? That feels good. Is it to massage the muscles to relieve the spasm? Is that the purpose of the adjustment? Or is it to correct subluxation to allow 100% expression of innate intelligence? C. See that little white guy there? What are they? I don't know what they even call those little white stick figures. What's he doing? What's he doing? Got to get connected to the source. That's what an adjustment does. Subluxation unplugs you from the source. What source? The power that made you. That's supposed to be running your body. Disconnected from the intelligence that created the living universe and gave you life. Subluxation disconnects you from that. Does that sound like something anybody wants? No. So what does an adjustment do? Reconnects you. Plugs you back in, baby. The most important adjustments that I do every week or every couple of weeks, right there, my family, my wife, my 3 boys. And I told you, they've been getting adjusted. Well, my wife, since I met her, and same thing with my wife as it is with my 3 kids. We're blessed, you know. God is good, but we do our part. We do our part. Did I say they never eat junk food? No, I can't say that. but these are people you're looking at. My children are people that you're looking at that have been getting chiropractic adjustments, staying connected to the source within minutes of them taking their first breath of life. Okay? So is there any wonder or any surprise that they have rarely, if ever, been sick? No. You know, so what could be more important? You know, if I had $60 and I had to choose between my gym membership or my supplements or my chiropractic adjustments, where do you think my money would be? Nothing more valuable than the chiropractic adjustments. Nothing brings you more bang for the buck, life-restoring, healing power, human potential expression than the chiropractic adjustment. Because nothing happens from the outside in. Everything happens from the what? Inside out. Is there anything more powerful than God's wisdom and His potential? It's limitless, and that's what we're working with inside of your nervous system. How could anything be more valuable or powerful than that? Nothing from the outside in. I don't care if it's a drug, a pill, a potion, a lotion, a supplement. My adjustment. No, my adjustment's from the outside in. My adjustment doesn't do the healing. All it does is remove the interference to a power far beyond you and I can even comprehend. Are you with me right now? Yeah. So, human performance. I had a man come in and came to one of my workshops. It was, his name was, I think, Kamal. He came in and he was sitting here, he was a guest. Young guy, and it was at a cancer workshop. And at the end, I was talking about the nervous system, and he came up to me and said, you know what? It sounds like I should probably have my spine checked. I've never done that. You know, he's a pharmacy student. He's a science guy, and he's like, it makes sense to me. The nervous system controls everything. I've never had it checked. Can you check it for me? So I had a consultation with him. So I was like, tell me about your trauma history. And he told me that he had a really bad head trauma about eight years ago, and he had to have surgery on his brain. And then after that, not too long after, he started having bouts of depression. They put him on antidepressants. He was his family and friends were telling him that he was just like kind of disconnected, you know, no emotion. He was just not right. So he started elaborating on all this. And meanwhile, I just went ahead and finished up my exam, took the x-rays. When I took the x-ray, I looked way up at the top under his skull, and I saw the same thing that I saw on my dad after he dove into a lake and hit his head on a cast iron tub. and shifted the top bone out of alignment in his neck. And as a result of that, he had headaches for 40 years, even though he was on 6 different medications for head pain and blood pressure and this and that. It wasn't until I adjusted him 40 years later, when I left chiropractic school, that his headaches went away. He never came back. And so on this young man, I found the same type of subluxation, jamming into his brainstem. So I was going over the x-rays with him, and I showed him, I said, Jamal, up here on this chart, I want you to see where the nerves branch off at the top of the neck. If the bones go out of alignment there, these are the effects. Headaches, nervousness, insomnia, head colds, high blood pressure, migraines, nervous breakdowns, amnesia, tiredness, dizziness, forgetfulness, anxiety, many of the things that he had. He said, well, I'm going back to the Bahamas. I don't have a lot of time. Do you think I should even do anything while I'm here? I said, never know what one adjustment could do. So I laid him on the table. When I adjusted him, it sounded like a gunshot went off. I mean, you could hear and feel those bones moving, significant. He got up off the table. I said, you know, I know when there's a little adjustment and I know when there's a big adjustment, and that was major. I said, chances are you are going to sleep tonight like a champ. You're going to breathe better, have more energy. You're going to see a difference. And he came back the next day. Oh no, it wasn't the next day. He called in. He missed his appointment. Why? He slept for 16 hours. He came in the day after. He said, I'd never had such a deep sleep like that. I can't remember the last time I felt this good. He's like, I feel happy. I actually feel happy. Like, I can't even describe it. I just feel well. You know, it's the first time in as long as I can remember. What happened? Corrected the cause, the source, and the root, removed the interference, and what? Got him reconnected with the source, the way his body was designed to work all these years. And all that time, if he would have went to a chiropractor, the cause of the problem would have been corrected, and it could have saved him from needless years of suffering. If the proper diagnostics would have been done. Sometimes you go to doctors and they find nothing wrong and they say, we'll see you next year. And you know, we do the same thing here. People come in for regular checkups all the time, not necessarily because they have pain, but because we educate people. You want to have your spine checked before you have a problem, right? When's the best time to prevent disease? 10 years from now or now? Yeah. And that's the purpose of when you do an examination, when you take an x-ray. When you see parts of the spine that are deviated from normal, and you know there are nerves that are being shut down to vital organs, what do you also know is going to happen if nothing is done to fix it? It's only a matter of what? Time, yeah. And so like this chart that I showed you before, any disease, sickness known to mankind can be traced back to a part of the spine that's been affected if it's been there long enough. And that's the value of x-rays and thermography, to find and correct the cause of sickness and disease before it has a chance to develop. That's where the real value is in chiropractic. So if you're a guest here and you haven't had your spine checked in a long time and you'd like to have that done, we have a friends and family certificate. You can ask for one of these before you leave. I sit down with you, I do a comprehensive consultation, examination, we do the thermography, we take x-rays if it's necessary. This includes the x-rays. Normally, for the x-rays, the reported findings on the x-rays, $360 worth of service. It's only $97 if you use the friends and family certificate. So if that's important to you, anything I said made sense, ask them for one of these before you leave tonight. Very rarely do we include the x-rays. So it's an amazing gift that you can give to yourself or a family member, friend, loved one that you're thinking about right now. Ask them on the way out for this. And it has a 2-week expiration on it because we don't do this very often. But if you have any health issues that you want us to look into, see if there's a causal relationship in the spine, or you just want to do it preventatively, we're happy to look at that for you. Before you leave, ask them. All right. I spent the most time on the most important thing, didn't I?
Yes.
Number 5 is continue learning and growing. Continue what? Learning and growing. If you don't use it, you lose it. 1 over 9 people over the age of 65 develop Alzheimer's, and 1 over 2 over the age of 85 will develop Alzheimer's. Did you know that? If you're not doing something to prevent it, it's safe to say statistically you're on your way to developing it. And so you have to do that and make sure you're doing these things. Make sure you're using your brain, whether it's crossword puzzles or Sudoku or, just coming to our workshops. Like next month, we have our diabetes and blood sugar control workshop. You want to learn how to lose your fastest, easiest 10 pounds ever, lower your blood sugar, lower your blood cholesterol, lower your blood pressure. Be here for the workshop. Keep learning, keep growing. You will empower yourself and stay in charge of your health. Right here, I wanted to show you a picture from 15 years ago. In that blue shirt, right there in the middle, who do you see? David, raise your hand. There you go. All the way to the left, in the blue shirt, four people back. Where's Denise? Are you wearing the same shirt? You're getting your money's worth out of that. Bela, right there, front and center. Where are you, Bela? Raise your hand. All right, so, this is what it's all about. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys and love you for your commitment to continuing to learn and grow and keep me challenged to doing the same. Because if you weren't here, if you weren't showing up, I wouldn't still be doing this after 22 years of monthly workshops. So I started this in 1999 or 2000. Deborah was at the first one. And every month, we have never missed 1 month of a monthly workshop. So, the truth is that the most successful people in the world, they find their source of success and they never unplug. They never unplug from the source. And this is the source. This is one of those things that you want to continue to tap into. In addition to this, now I do these weekly, broadcasts. You'll see them playing in the office. They come to you by email. If you don't get those in your email, check your spam or ask them up front. I send something to you every week through the email so that you can stay challenged and keep learning and keep growing. If you don't receive our emails, please let them know so we can get you plugged in with that. So I just wanted to do that, and I also wanted to, while we're on the subject of these workshops, I wanted to honor a few of the people who have been to more than 50 workshops. So 50 workshops, many of you have been to 100 or more, but 50 workshops kind of looks like, maybe missing one a year over the course of 5 years, 6 years, and you've been to 50. That's how simple it is. You can do that, right? Turn to your neighbor and say, I can do that. I can do that. All right, so I want to call up just some people, just want to love on you guys here and show you our appreciation. When I call your name, Jim Hamilton, come up to the front. When I call your name, Bruce Landry, come on up to the front. When I call your name, Denise Barowie, come on up to the front. Cecile and Laurel, come on up to the front. Josephine, come on up to the front. Clara Picarella, come on up to the front. Vianney Francis, come on up to the front. Okay? We got lots of people. And come on, make some room for your friends. Come on down. So what they're getting is, they're getting a sup in a cup. Come on down. Come on down, guys. They got a sup in a cup. Well, they got a Elevation Health teacup or a coffee mug. And then there's a supplement in there. It's a surprise supplement. I don't know what it is, but it's a surprise. Everybody's got something that we know that you use and that you'll make good use of. Come on up. Come on up. All right. So these folks that you're looking at here have the recipe for success. They all have 3 things in common. Number 1 is persistence. They never quit. They never give up. You all heard winners never quit and quitters never win. They persist. They never stop. They always keep coming month in and month out. Second thing that I realized and I thought about, which is very important, is that they take charge of their health. And they've been to enough workshops, and the reason why they keep coming back to the workshops is because they still go to their doctors. I don't tell them not to go to their doctors, but when they do, They are armed with the information that's necessary to ask the right questions and not back down and cower in fear, which puts their health and their life in jeopardy. So I applaud you for that. And then the last thing is persistence. Well, the first one was consistency, but this one is persistence. Persistence, regardless of hell or high water. I mean, through this pandemic that we've had these last couple of years, they didn't miss the workshops. They still came to the workshops because of what you just learned about how important, how beneficial, and how powerful the chiropractic adjustments are for your health, your life, and your immune system. Not one of them stopped coming to the workshops because of that. And they led by example, because the most successful people in the world never unplug from the source. So I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for leading as an example. All right. Well, while we're standing, we're going to do our massage. So, yeah. Yes. We're going to turn around. Everybody stand up. Stand up and turn and face the person on your left. Yeah. And get all that stress out. Very nice. All right, karate chop. Good job. Awesome. All right, turn around and love your other neighbor. Get that stress out. All right, karate chop. Very nice. Give yourself a round of applause. All right. Thank you, guys. We're not done yet. Not done. Okay. So, number 6. We got 2 more. Are we doing good on time? Maintain your ideal what? Weight. Okay, so what does that mean? Very simply, number 1, don't overeat. I mean, if you overeat, you know you blew it, you know? How many of you ever gone out or you push away from the table and it's like, you just feel like somebody kicked you in the gut? And, you know, if you don't like what the scale is showing you, stop eating. Just stop. You know, there's this thing called intermittent fasting where you can, you know, have a good meal for dinner, but just skip breakfast. Give yourself 18 hours. Don't eat until lunch, and then have a lighter dinner. So you'll watch how fast your stomach goes down. It'll make your head spin. Just eat less. Portion control. There's something to be said for something as simple as portion control. It really is true. What happens when your weight goes up? What happens when your BMI goes up? What happens to all the other aspects of your health? Your blood pressure, your blood sugar, the fat in your blood, your triglycerol, your cholesterol. That's why BMI is such an important number. We talked about that last month. When your BMI goes over 30, it's almost a given that your chances are dying from heart disease, cancer, or diabetes. It's almost a given. And usually it's more than one of those. So you have to make sure that your BMI is well under 30 if you're serious about living all the decades you're supposed to. If your BMI is over 30, you're probably cutting your life expectancy off by about 8 or 10 years. So it's a serious thing. So the 3 basic changes. How many changes? 3. Let's start with this. Again, remove the bad fats and replace them with what? Good fats. What are the bad fats?
Saturated.
Well, saturated, not necessarily because, you know, there's grass-fed meat and you have grass-fed butter and you have these healthy saturated fats like coconut oil, right? And what do? They're anti-inflammatory, they're good for your brain, preferred source of fuel for your heart. So not necessarily saturated fat, although we do want to have that in moderation. Yeah. But I would say the trans fats, right? Yeah. Those that are made in the laboratory, number 1. And number 2, the vegetable oils. A lot of these vegetable oils, like the soybean oil, cottonseed oil, you go look on the label, and you'll see all these oils, and they're like, oh, that's not so bad, that's not so bad. They're horrible. They're horrible. Drives inflammation in your brain and your body. So reduce those bad fats and put in more what? Good fats. Yeah, what are good fats? Olive oil, almonds, Coconut is a good healthy fat. Yeah, so these are good. You got grass-fed butter is good healthy fat. Good. Yeah. What else? Almond butter, avocados. What do you got? Palm oil. Yeah, those are one of those that I try to steer away from. Yeah, try to steer away from those. So the key is to read the labels. That's a good question. Just read the labels and make sure that you're looking at these things very carefully. You want to steer clear away from those vegetable oils. They use them, and not just in a lot of foods, but when you go out for dinner also, not just in the packaged stuff. Yeah, Vivian. Avocado oil, good. Now with these oils, you got to remember, you have to cook on low heat. You have to cook them on low heat, otherwise you denature them and they can turn into a trans fat. The only thing you can cook on high heat is the coconut oil. All right. So make sure you got lots of good fats in there. We talk about this at the workshops all the time. I'm not going to go deep into that tonight, but that's important. Change the meats and the dairy you're eating from what? Grain-fed to what?
Grass-fed.
To grass-fed. Why is this important? Anybody know why it's important? What's the difference? What is the effect that grain-fed has on your cells, on your body, generally speaking, causes a condition that drives all disease? What did you say, Michelle? Inflammation. What is it? Inflammation. That's why you don't want grain-fed. And if you don't buy grass-fed, you will get grain-fed, right? If you don't specifically choose the path you want, somebody else is going to choose one for you. Remember the two pictures, right? Nursing home or cruise ship. You have to be in control of that. Reduce carbs and sugars. Why is that important? Well, besides your weight and diabetes and all that, there's one more predicament that more and more Americans are finding themselves in as they get older, which is now the 5th leading cause of death, and that's Alzheimer's. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease showed that older people who load up their plates with carbohydrates have 4 times the risk of developing what? Cognitive impairment. Okay, that's the beginning of dementia, which precedes Alzheimer's. So the more carbs you have, the faster you are careening towards full-blown Alzheimer's. And I can tell you guys, it is not good. When you have to take care of a family member with Alzheimer's, full-blown Alzheimer's, it is the saddest thing that you ever have to witness. So you want to do everything that you can. If your BMI is high, if you're overweight, if you are still killing the carbs, and I mean not in a good way, you need to look at where your A1C is, because your A1C is not so much to tell you whether or not you're diabetic or how well you're doing with that. Your A1C is an indicator, the key indicator of how fast you're moving towards Alzheimer's or how fast you're moving away from it. So you got to get that well below 6. Everybody with me right now?
Yes.
That's why I'm bringing this up. Reduce and eliminate those carbs, the breads, the pasta, the rice, the cereals. You need to have less and less of that until you can eliminate it. And then what happens, Maria? You wake up one day and you're 15, 20 pounds lighter, right? What did I do? I didn't even have to try. That's what Maria keeps saying. I did nothing. I just came to your workshops. But she's doing really well and she's maintaining it. Why? Because she applies these principles. Just kill the carbs. Is it okay to have a cheat day like once a week? Okay. So it goes once a week. But here's the thing. When you start blurring your edges and you have another cheat day and another cheat day, you're programming your body to store fat instead of burn it. And then what happens is you see this in your blood sugar and your A1C. I give you one cheat day for the week. That's it. I'm not above the law either, because when I try to get away with it, it always fails. But if you can stick with this, not only do you lose weight and feel great, you prevent disease. You lower your risk of disease. You reduce the number of medications that you have to take and start to eliminate and get off of these and extend your life. So that's the ideal food pyramid that we're shooting for. The food pyramid that they give you in elementary school, the bottom 60% is what, Mike? What is it? It's usually what? Breads, pasta, rice, cereal, remember that?
Right.
But this food pyramid really gives you the truth. This is what we need to be living on. The 60%, the vast majority of our daily food intake is proteins, green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, healthy oils, good fats. That's really what you should be shopping for. That's what you should be stocking your refrigerator and your pantry with. All that good stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Where would you put yam, sweet potato?
Okay. So you got to be careful with that. They are starchy to some degree. I mean, when you put it with a regular baked potato, it's the better choice. But for somebody who is trying to get their A1C down, you want to just kill it for a while until you get things under control. And so it does have nutritional value. It definitely does. But it's the effect that it has on your blood glucose. When insulin goes up, that's when all these bad things start happening. So just take a look at that and you'll notice there's just all good meats, poultry, you got dairy in there. Some people do better with dairy than others. Dairy can be highly inflammatory. So if you got allergies, remember Mike, you came in the other day and it was like the day, he was like, oh my God, my allergies, my head's all stuffed out. Well, what'd you have for dinner? Or yesterday, I don't know, like 4 ice cream cones or something like that. Does my memory serve me right? Yeah. Okay. So we don't think of these things. I don't mean to throw you on. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I hope you understand. It's just an example, So I'm not, no perfect people here, right? Myself included. We have cheese, and the question is, how much can you have before it creates a problem? And that's when you have to back off. You have to listen to your body. And so you can see all these things. You have to have the good nuts, the good fats, the vegetables, and you have all the carbs that you need from the veggies and the low sugar fruits. All right, so the last part that I want to cover is the toxins. Now, the thing with toxins is this really messes up your DNA. And when your DNA becomes affected, if your body cannot detoxify because of the toxins, it shortens your life expectancy. It does take years off of your life. Now, I don't want to get geeky on you and get into the science of it, but you got these things on the end of the chromosomes that are called telomeres. And the telomeres basically, they repeat and then they cut off and they cut off, and you only have a certain number of them as your DNA replicates itself. And then you're out of the telomeres are gone. And then when they're gone, you're gone. And the telomere length on the DNA is affected by your body's ability to detoxify. If you're highly toxic and your body can't detoxify, then it really shortens those DNA strands very quickly, and that's what speeds up your aging process. Is that kind of making sense? So the things that you have to be careful of is, number one, prescription drugs, because they don't grow on a tree or out of the ground or on a vine, do they? They're made in a laboratory that's synthetic. Now, they may be stabilizing your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and I'm not telling you to pull the plug on that and get off. But again, I am saying that's a horizon that you want to start moving towards and do what you can by doing all these other good things. And when your body gets strong enough, maybe next year your A1C will be good enough to go down another medication, right? Maybe 2 years from now, your blood pressure will be stable enough to get off that medication. Give it time, right? Your body doesn't stop healing just because we're in a rush. A year from now, you're going to be sitting in a different body. Every cell that makes up what you see in the mirror, your eyes, your skin, your hair, your nails, your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your spleen, your skeleton, will not be the same cells that you are sitting in right now. They will be different. And if you put the right ingredients in between now and then, you will be a better version of yourself, right or right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So give it time. There are healing cycles every 3, 6, 12 months. That's why you see people around you that have been under care, chiropractic care, for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Because the nervous system is priming the pump for that cellular replication, in addition to all the other good things that you're doing. Sleeping on mattresses and pillows with formaldehyde. That's good for longevity, right? Yeah. Paint. The paint that they were using when you were younger, or the house that you grew up with, had what? Lead in it. What's in many of our water sources, thousands of water sources across the country, trace amounts of lead, which builds up. Many sources have more lead than they found in Flint, Michigan. What's in many of our cosmetics? Lead. Yeah, what's in our deodorant, our soap, our toothpaste? Aluminum, sudsing agents, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is cancer-causing in laboratory animals. So it's not going to kill you today or tomorrow, but you use enough of it long enough, It's cumulative. You're filling up your buckets. And it's only a matter of time until it spills over. So what do we see in the teeth there? Amalgam fillings, which is what? Mercury, heavy metals. What do you think caused Rome to collapse? Ancient Rome went down because of what? Lead, mercury, their water supplies were infected and infested with this stuff. And that's really, hypothesis. It's been written in medical journals. That's really what they peg it on, the demise of Roman civilization. And you have, shots, flu shots, childhood shots, thimerosal, which is mercury. So the question is, where does this stuff go? Gets into the cells, but the question is, if you have more going in than your body can get out, then what are some of the effects? Oh, we also have this thing, what are they spraying on the crops there? What is that? Pesticide. What's the biggest pesticide you need to be concerned about? Roundup, the active ingredient in Roundup, which is called glyphosate. And 70% of all the glyphosate application every single day, month, and year is on corn and soy. And what do they use corn and soy in? What do manufacturers use corn and soy in now, right? Cattle feed, poultry feed, fish feed, all feed. So it's in the food chain, and we're getting it unless you're buying what? Grass-fed. See why this is important? So let me tell you why. It's basically, it's in your condiments, high fructose corn syrup. Anytime you go through a drive-through window, you're killing yourself with this stuff. But here's the biggest concern. Not just that it's a pesticide, but it's a pesticide that crosses the blood-brain barrier. And now you have toxicity in your brain. And this is what they found accelerates dementia and Alzheimer's disease. MIT studies show this direct correlation with deaths from senile dementia at the time that they started to apply glyphosate to the crops. Did you know that? Yeah, this is really important. This is why you have to make better choices to get away from this. and maybe if you haven't started doing a regular detoxification program, that now may be a good time to start if you haven't addressed this yet. Some signs that you're toxic: fatigue, chronic fatigue. That's probably one of the most common signs that you're toxic, that your bucket is full. Depression, anxiety, trouble sleeping, irritable bowel syndrome, allergies, headaches, muscle pain, and just looking old, haggardly, and tired when you look in the mirror. It accelerates the aging process. Like I said, those little ends on the chromosomes, those are the telomeres. And the toxins basically chomp away at it like Pac-Man, because your body can't get rid of those toxins. It stops your body's ability to detoxify. And so that's basically the end result. That's what we look like when we don't take our health seriously, or we don't take action. Remember in the beginning I said, you leave here and like, wow, that was a great workshop. Well, what are you doing? Are you doing something on a daily basis to address these things? That's the most important question. So, I always say, I don't say, are you toxic, right, Jojo? I don't say, are you toxic? What's the question? How toxic are you? Our whole world, our environment is toxic. Our indoor environment is more toxic than our outdoor environment. So how can we not all be toxic? The question is, how toxic are you, number one? And number two, what are you doing about it on a daily basis to move it out faster than it's going in? So the one thing that can eliminate the guesswork is a test. So we do testing in the office, which tells you your level of toxicity and what kind of toxicity. And one of these tests is a visual contrast sensitivity test. So I don't have the little thing here. There's a card that goes on the end. You don't have to get it, Deborah. It's all right. But basically, there are these cards with little stripes. And when you're toxic, it affects your optic nerve. So the cards are set up in a way to where they fade, and it can measure how sensitive or damaged your optic nerve is from the toxins. So this simple visual test will tell you not just your level of toxicity, but also what kind of toxicity. Is it biotoxicity, mold, heavy metals, whatever the case is? It's a very specific test, and it's very accurate. And then the other one is something called a meta-oxy test. So you take a little pipette and a thing in the bathroom, pee in the little cup, you bring it out, we put the reagent in it, and it measures the color. and we put it up against that. And it can tell you, right, it just immediately how good or how bad you are. So, I mean, this, well, we do, both of them we do together. I mean, this test measures for cellular inflammation. I mean, if this test costs $1,000, it would be worth it. But between this and then the questionnaire, normally it's about $400 to do the testing. But if you want to have that done, I know that when we do it at the workshop, when I talk about it at the workshop, it's only $27. So if you want to make an appointment for that, ask Deborah. Right?
97.
I'm sorry, 97. I apologize. Yeah, I don't want to step on her turf. She's very good at what she does. If you guys are serious about learning this, she's very specific. It's, what is it, a 30-minute appointment? And we go through all these things, and it tells you, number one, if you need to address it. Number two, at what level do you need to address it? Do you need to get into your brain, or is your body good enough? So it's different for everybody, but we do the testing here in the clinic. So let me give you some other nutritional supportive ideas. And I found this clip. How many of you guys watch Dr. Oz? I don't watch him a whole lot, but I found something that was pretty interesting regarding detoxification and how your body makes something called glutathione. So let's listen.
They're revealing the most powerful antioxidant that you have never heard of. It's one of the keys to fighting off the diseases that you fear the most. It is called glutathione. Now write it down because it's critically important. And here to tell us about it is the director of Yale University's Prevention Research Center and my good friend Dr. David Katz. So glutathione has been described in many places as the superhero of antioxidants. Now, why is that? How come no one's ever heard of it before?
Because unlike most antioxidants people think about getting in a supplement, this one the body makes. That's the reason people haven't heard about it. It's going on all the time. It's also the reason why it really is the most important antioxidant. It's the one that the body relies on itself to clean up critical toxins. So it's being manufactured all the time, and the body makes critical use of this to defend us against a variety of toxins.
So I've got a little demonstration, so I'm going to make this really clear, folks. This is absolutely essential. You don't have to put all the things to do in your life, right? The foods to eat, the antioxidant vitamins to take. They all work through this. In the body, you've got glutathione. And you also have lots of cells. Looks just like this, right? And so you've got these green normal cells, and you also have toxic cells. Some of these are from outside your body. Some of them are cells of your own that have been damaged by free radicals, and they've been oxidized. Damaged by the sun, damaged from foods, whatever. If you put in the normally existing glutathione in your body, it will soak up a lot of these bad boys, take them away, just like that. Now, if you don't have enough of the glutathione, now you put it in there, and you'll be lucky if you just get one of these toxic cells out. So you lose the powerful natural ability of your body to heal itself. Now, we always brag about how the body can help you almost always recover, but only if you help it do that for you. That's what this segment is about. Now, David, how do you know? Like that?
I like that.
Good. I'll take it home.
Okay, thanks.
Go back to you.
My kids will know.
Now, how do you know if you don't have enough glutathione in your body?
So the issue is this: if you have a chronic disease, most serious chronic diseases are associated with low levels of glutathione. So if you have diabetes, if you've been through cancer, if you're struggling with a serious infection, that may indicate that you're depleting your glutathione. Maybe worth checking your level, certainly worth doing things to bring your level back up. And then also, if you're chronically run down, if you're chronically fatigued, if your body just isn't firing on all cylinders, low glutathione may be part of it, both cause and effect. So you have to be sort of clued into how you're feeling and your general state of health.
So, Yale medical doctor. So, was that helpful to understand how important glutathione is? And again, in the aging process, this is very well established in the scientific community. So your body makes glutathione, but it needs glutathione precursors. So your body already makes the glutathione, but you have to give it what it needs to make enough of the glutathione. Are you with me right now? So this is the label from the Ultraplex Complete Clean. And one of the reasons why I always tell you that it's a good general daily detox is because of this N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine is the precursor for your body to use to make what? Glutathione. And it's got 150 milligrams in that. Now we used to, we still have the Mediclear. Mediclear is a great, daily thing like that because it has a multivitamin and it's got anti-inflammatory, it's all that protein, but Mediclear does not have as much N-acetylcysteine as this. This has 3 times the N-acetylcysteine as the Mediclear does, and that's why I personally take this. And I take it after my workout in the morning, and it gives me all my vitamins, all the amino acids, the whole spectrum there with the B vitamins to help my body further detoxify. So that's an option for you if you're looking to, apply this and take action and do something as a very low level, gentle daily detox. This is a very simple thing you can do. It's also, you can use it as a meal replacement. You can make smoothies with it. And just do it first thing in the morning. It'll save you time, it'll save you money. 2 scoops and you got basically a meal with all your vitamins in it and your daily detox. So you can make fruit smoothies in the morning. For lunch, you can make a veggie smoothie. You just put 2 scoops in it. You can use it with coconut milk or almond milk. So just wanted to mention that because again, that's one way to get glutathione support. This is in your handout, the Edison packs, the detox packs. I'm finishing my first month of doing this. This is a good, simple, general, effective way to detox. I would say just a major step above the complete clean. Complete clean is just a gentle daily thing. This is for you wanting to really clean house as far as all the cells, your organs, your systems, your lymphatic glands, all of that, and getting it out. It's very simple, and this is recommended that you do this for at least a 90-day cycle. Now, before you do that, what my recommendation is to actually get tested to see if this is something that you could do or should do. And as you go through the 90 days, at the end of the 30 days, you get retested to see your toxicity levels coming down. So again, it's important not to guess what you want to test. Is this making sense to everybody? Okay. So I just finished my first month, and I can tell you that it's something that works. It's something that you see a difference, you feel a difference. My weight has come down, my mental clarity has gone up. I tend to do these, at least every year. So this we just started carrying just a couple of months ago, and we're seeing really good results clinically with it in our practice. So that's in your handout. That's why I put it there so that you could see that. A couple of other supplements there that I didn't cover as far as the Elevate T, the testosterone supplement. There's a hormone supplement there for women. These are new. We just formulated them and we just started carrying them. You can ask them at the front if that's something that you need help with. 3 more, and then I'm gonna be done. But these again, many of you have asked me what are the most important supplements that I need to be taking for anti-aging, and I told you vitamin D was important, and we all know it's important to prevent heart disease, and it's important for your immune system. But did you know that it's important to prevent cognitive decline? And so this is Journal of Geriatric Psychology and Neurology. They said vitamin D can help ward off the decline in what? Mental function that usually accompanies age. So when we're talking about anti-aging, you need to make sure that you're getting adequate vitamin D. Now, what's adequate vitamin D and what's optimal vitamin D? Adequate, your doctor may say, okay, you're 30, 35, that's fine. But optimal should be close to 70 if you're serious of pretty much reducing your risk of at least 50 to 75% of all cancers. So we try to peg it there as high as possible. You need a minimum of 5,000 international units every day, a minimum, and many people need more. So that's all I want to say about that. That's why that's in there. The curcumin, what is the curcumin? It comes from the Indian spice turmeric. Oh, Dr. Yachter, I cook all my foods in turmeric. I don't need a turmeric supplement. No, this is different. Just because you use turmeric in your food, it doesn't mean you're getting the anti-inflammatory benefits that come in a capsule, a form in the capsule which is highly concentrated, which is a mega dose, which gets you the clinical outcome you're looking for, which number 1 is to reduce inflammation, which is present in which diseases? All disease, right? And number 2, we know that it decreases not just body, but brain inflammation, and it's the most evident. It has the most evidence-based literature backing it as an anti-cancer supplement among all other nutrients. So that's why it's a great anti-aging supplement. Make sense?
Yes.
How about the EPA, fish oil capsules? Are these important?
Yeah.
The question is, what does EPA not prevent? It lowers your blood pressure, prevents arrhythmia, lowers triglycerides, prevents blood clots, everything that has to do with heart disease, prevents cancer, prevents depression, prevents mental decline. It's an anti-inflammatory. So is this important for anti-aging, Luther? Yes, sir. You betcha. You betcha. So this is not a suite. You don't have to buy all of these together to get the discount. Tonight you can get just whatever you need. It's up to you. But it's only the Ultraplex branded supplements that are available for the discount. The only time we give you the discounts is at the workshops. So we appreciate you for being here. We want to, incentivize you to take action and make application with what we're talking about. So that's why we're offering the discount. It's only for tonight only, and anything that's Ultraplex branded is eligible for the discount. All right. So and then the other way, does anybody here like to save money? No? Okay. If you don't, then this is not for you. That little gift certificate down there is it's to save 25% off of anything. Now, the way I'm going to offer this to you is by looking at that right there, a 5-star review on Google. One of the handouts that you got tonight has a QR code. It'll take you straight to our Google site, and you can do a 5-star review right in your seat right now. And if you do that, we'll give you a gift certificate. And, the reason why, let me just say this, okay? Before you just write anything, okay? And I want you to do this not to puff me up and give me props. The reason why this needs to be done is because who reads reviews out there when they're looking for help with their health? Who reads reviews? Everybody. In this day and age, before you buy something or go somewhere, you are reading what? Reviews. So when you put your testimony there of how chiropractic has helped you, has changed your life, has done this or done that, and they read that, I'm like, geez, man, they're not even talking about back pain, or maybe not even did it just help their back pain, but look at what happened with their blood pressure or this or that, and you see all these health benefits. Then they see that this is different. This place is different. And you can actually help people make a good decision about their health. That's why this is important. And if you write something like that, that changes lives. And so that's what I value. That's what I really love to see. If anybody wants to do that, again, we're trying to leave the community in better shape than we found it. And for that, yeah, we give you the gift certificate. This guy, he's from Ohio, patient here. Yeah, and he just wrote this 2 weeks ago. He said, I recently moved to Florida and needed to find a chiropractor. What do you do? Look for reviews. I happened to see Dr. Yachter's office and scheduled an appointment. 8 weeks later, not only has my back pain nearly gone away 100%, but I've also seen my blood pressure decrease. I'm no longer on medicine of any type. I can only attribute this to chiropractic care I'm receiving. Somebody reads that, what do they think? Wow, this is a place for somebody to get their health back, not just their neck or their back feeling better, right? So that's valuable, and I appreciate you for doing that. So action steps: make plans for next month's workshop, right? And the anti-aging and detox resources. You want a testing appointment? They can do that for you out there. Any of the resources, the supplements, remember the discount's only for tonight. And remember, if you're a guest here and you would like me to make an appointment with me to check your nerve system and your spine, and you want one of these friends and family health certificates, ask them for one of those. And this is good for 2 weeks only, so they can make that appointment for you as well. All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. Love and appreciate you. God bless.